Hey guys, MS Element here, back again with another video, and today we're going to be going deep dive on our SS4 Bardock Prismatic that got us 30th place in Gen Con last Saturday. The deck performed exceptionally well. It is not an easy deck to play, and that's why I'm making this video, just to go really deep into what the leader and the deck can do and how you can outplay your opponent. And every single matchup, there is a way to just take over the game. So the video is going to be on the lengthy side, so we're going to put timestamps on the bottom on the description. That way you can either pause at any point and come back to it, or you can just go exactly to what you want to see. So let's go over the leader. Bardock, reduce the combo cost by 1 and negate the energy exhaust skill of all black multicolor battle cards with SS4 under name. Second permanent, for each color on your battle area and energy, this card gets plus 2000. So with the permanent, just remember it is a permanent, it's not on your turn only. So as soon as you charge your first energy, if it is a black multicolor, should be, you'll be at 9,000, and there's a way to make him 11k on your first turn if you go second, by doing a combo that we'll show later, which is really good for aggro decks because they spam 10ks and 15ks. It's pretty easy to get out of those early hit ranges with this deck. And then when this card attack, look at the top 5 and grab a black card with SS4 in their name. Add it to your hand and shuffle your deck. This means it says black card, not battle card. So you can grab absolutely anything that has SS4 on their name. And there's a couple of cards that you can grab. You can grab the new super combo. You can grab SS4 call. And we'll go over that in a little bit. So to awaken, you need either 3 lives or less, or have 4 or more colors in your battle area or energy. So this means if you have red and blue on your energy and yellow and red in your field, you can actually awaken turn 2, which is possible. Not the best thing to do, but you do want to awaken as quickly as possible with as much life as you can, because he becomes a 15k obviously, but when he swings on the awaken side, let's go over, he has the same, we'll call it prismatic permanent, which is neg combo cost and energy exhaust of your SS4 multicolor cards. So on the awaken side, you draw 2. If you have 2 colors in your energy, this card gets 5000 power for the battle, and you choose up to one of your opponent battle cards and switch it to rest mode. 3 colors at the end of your turn, switch up to one of your black multicolor energies to active, and if you have 4 colors, draw 1 card, then choose one opponent unison card and remove a marker. So what this means is that it does state that it has to be 4 different color multicolored cards, so black doesn't apply. So you're gonna need to have yellow, blue, red, and green. It is really easy to do. It's not that hard to start drawing with this leader, because it also checks the battle area. So if you have 3 colors plus 1 on your field, that's 4 colors, and you get the draw and the neg of the unison marker. So this deck can take unisons from 5 markers down to 1 potentially if you sequence your turn correctly, which is really important with this deck. You need to be aware of what your pieces are in your hand. What you need for every single matchup is different, but this deck does have answers for everything. So we went over the leader. Let's go check out the list. So now let's go over our main deck. We are gonna go over some of the techs. We run 4 super combo of the Vegeta. All your energy is black, so it makes sense. Bottom deck 1, draw 2. It's great for cycling. Then we run 4 sensu beams because we do run blue energy, and it will extend your plays by a lot. 2 topos. I added the 2 topos because I didn't have some of the cards that I needed. So this was taking the space of some other cards. But in application on the tournament, it performed better than I expected. So I might leave it at 2. I'll go over the revised version at the end of the video. But I do think it's a good negate on this meta. Then we have 1 Fuse Samasu. This has to be at 2. The only reason why I don't have 2 on the deck right now is just because we didn't get them in the mail in time. And I had just sold my playset before the tournament. I didn't expect to play this at all, but I fell in love with the deck. So Samasu, it's the best way to win against blue. You charge yellow blue on your first 2 turns, and then turn 3 on your opponent. If they're blue players, they're gonna play their blue unison, so you just Samasu that unison, and that's it. That's their turn, because they tapped all their energy. They don't get the untap from the boo, and then they'll try it again next turn, because they do need that unison to be able to put a lot of pressure out and to play their counters. So if they're not playing any other unison that is below the threshold of 3 and 4, they're not going to have a good time. And that was the case in every single game that I did see Samasu when I needed it. So really advised to have this at 2 or even at 3 if your local meta runs a lot of blue decks. And then 1 Rochi, I wanted to run 2, couldn't find a second copy. But there is some really cool stuff that you can do with Roshi. And like I said earlier, you can take a unison from 5 markers all the way to 1 in 1 turn. And the only thing you need is a green energy and a Roshi. And we'll go over how that combo works in a little bit. So to finish up our tech, we are running Son Goku, The Adventure Begins with 3 Dragon Balls. You might say, Element, what are you doing? Like, you're trolling. Let me tell you guys, this was one of the most amazing decks we could have done for this tournament. Let me explain my thought process behind it. So, Soul Surge is a very degenerate thing that rips cards from your hand, nitty-willy, no punishment at all. This is the best way I thought that we could control that. If I was going against green, my plan was just play turn 1 a Son Goku and grab as many Dragon Balls as possible. And that's what I was going to cycle to discard every time they rebrand or they did any fancy stuff that green does. And in testing, it worked really, really well. I was always able to keep cycling Dragon Balls throughout the whole game. And when my opponent saw how annoying that was, they would target the Kitku. So if they're targeting my Kitku, they're not targeting other things on my board, which is really, really good. So it puts the opponent on the path of making choices. And in any TCG, the more choices you make your opponent do, the bigger chance there is for them to make a wrong decision. So in theory, that was the thought process behind Kid Goku. In application, it has so many applications. So I'll show you this. We run 3 of the SS4 call. So SS4 call says, play this card. It doesn't have energy cost. If your leader card is a black Bardock Xeno card or Saiyan card with SS4 in their card name, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Add up to 2 black cards with SS4 in their name to your hand. Then place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you added 2 cards to your hand, choose 1 card in your hand and place it at the bottom of your deck. So with that being said, you can see the synergy with Kid Goku. You play Call, you grab 2 cards, you send 1 Dragon Ball to the bottom of your deck, and immediately search back your Dragon Ball with Kiku, making this card a +2 instead of a +1 every single time. The same thing goes with the super combo. You bottom deck the Dragon Ball, you draw 2 with your super combo, you Kid Goku, and you get your Dragon Ball back, plusing 3 cards. The Dragon Ball is a 5k combo that you can do on your early turns. If you play Kiku turn 1, you grab your first Dragon Ball, you combo it out to defend 16k attack, because at that point your leader would have 11k power. So you 16k your leader for that attack, and then your next turn you grab it back. If you get to play 2 of them, you're gonna have so much defensive power and so much cycling potential. So definitely we'll keep this with this ratio. It performed way too well to cut it down. Defensively, cycling, it just makes your deck so much consistent. And your hand size, at some point I had 14 and 15 cards in my hand, and my opponents couldn't get through. With that being said, we're gonna go over the new cards. I'm gonna be dividing them into 2 sections. So let's go over that. So for the new cards, we have 2 different types. We have the Prismatic Burst, which we run 4 of the green, 3 of the red, 2 of the blue, and 4 of the yellow. So the best way to differentiate your cards is if they look like they're attacking or charging Ki Blast, they don't have effects when they get placed on your energy. So yellow and blue are the ones that you can use to cheese out 2 costs. So you combo with him, pay 1 black, he comes in rest mode, and it has an effect. Same with the blue one. And then your red and green are your counterplay and counter attacks. So the yellow one, what it does is when you pay 1 black, he comes in rest mode, and it negs the skill on your opponent unison. If your opponent messes up, and they manage to, you don't have Samasu to counter their unison, they manage to play their unison on their turn, but they mess up and they attack with their leader first, you're gonna combo this. You're gonna come in play, and as soon as he comes in play, the unison doesn't have any skills until the next turn of your opponent, the end of the next turn of your opponent. Then you can pay 1 black, and you can play a 2 cost from your hand. Same with green. Same with blue. Has the same effect. The only thing is that the blue one, when it comes in play, it bounces a 3 cost or less, and then it has the same effect. Pay 1 black, send them to your warp, play a 2 cost, and at the beginning of your next turn, you get to grab the card back to your hand. So it's a good way to cycle some effects. There are also targets for some of the finishers that we have on the deck. The red Prismatic Burst is counterplay that you can play for only 1 red if you have 2 or more multicolored black cards in your energy, and if the card being in play has 20 power or less, it just straight goes to the drop. So against blue-yellow, they try to rival Bojack with 20k. You counter, you take a life, counter for 1 red, and it goes to the drop, never sees the field. If they try to charismatic Frieza, same thing, it goes to the drop. If they try to Mecha Frieza you, same thing. So this answers a lot of the. This is like a better version of Kamehameha. And then for the green one, the green is a floodgate negate. You pay one green to play him if you have 3 or more black energy in your black multicolor energy. You pay one green, discard a card, and then your opponent can only attack based on how many colors they have in their energy. If the deck is running monocolor, they only have one more swing, and it doesn't include the leader, but it does include unison. So if they attack with the leader first, you go ahead, you negate that. They only have one more attack, either with unison or whatever battle card they want to play. The reason why I run only 2 of the blue, it's not a great card to play out. I just have it to have more consistency on targets for my big bombs. And yellow for it's just amazing. Like negating skills on a unison for 2 turn, it's just straight up busted. 3 of the red because we're running topo, and you don't need that many counterplays. To be honest, you can do it once or twice per game and it's good. If you think you do need more counterplays, you can bump it to 4 and cut this to 3 if you like. And then for floodgate negates, it just gives you so many turns to be able to close out the game. So the longer the game goes, the deck performs a little bit better. And then for our Aegis package, these are the cards that when you place in your energy, they have effects, and they're gonna look like they're powering up. So we run 3 of the green, 3 of the blue, 3 of the red, and 4 of the yellow. So again, back to ratios. The reason why we run 4 of the yellow is because more targets for our big bombs. Then all of them have some kind of keyword skill on top of being played on your energy, and that's where the deck becomes a little bit more complicated to play, because you have to be aware, do I want the effect or do I want the keyword skill on the field? So the green one has double strike, the yellow one has critical, the yellow one has blocker, the blue one has critical, and the red one has barrier. They're all 16k, so they don't get hit by BMS if you cheese them out with the prismatic burst. And then green, when you place it in your energy, your opponent chooses a unison card with 3 markers and removes 1. And if you play this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent card with energy 4 or less, and you send it to the owner warp. So it is a removal. For the blue one, which has a really cool effect, secondary effect if you play it. The first effect is you put him on your energy. If you have another multicolor energy, the effect triggers. And what it does is you take a card from your opponent's hand, you choose, you put him on the bottom of the deck, then your opponent gets to draw 1. There were so many times that I hit key component cards just from doing this. And then if you play him, you draw 2 and put 1 on the bottom of the deck, which goes back to the Kid Coup, right? You draw 2 and you put a Dragon Ball on the bottom of the deck, and then you go back and search it with Kid Coup. The yellow one, I think it's one of the best ones, because if it gets placed on your energy, you get a battle card from your opponent's side, 4 or less, and negate the skills onto your opponent next turn. And then if you play him, the secondary effect is when this card is played from your hand, choose 1 of your opponent battle cards, switch it to rest mode, and KO it if it's skillless. But because the first effect makes the card skillless, you can actually play make the card skillless, tap it, and kill it immediately. So 2 removals on the deck. And then for the red one, for every other color, multicolor black card that you have on your energy, when you place them on your energy, you can neg 2000 power per color. And black it's considered a color, so if you charge them turn 5 or turn 4, you're negging 10,000 something just for playing him on your energy. And the secondary effect is active battle. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 15 power. So a couple of cool things that you can do with this cards and Roshi, if you have them in your energy, Roshi becomes really, really powerful just because, let's say your opponent has 5 unison, 5 markers on their unison. You go ahead, you charge your green, you neg a marker. You swing with your leader, right? Out of the leader triggers if you're attacking their unison, right? So out of the leader triggers takes 1 more marker that's from 5 to 3. Then you combo Roshi because they still have 3 markers. You can actually grab a green energy and tap, take it and place it again, and then you'll take another marker plus your leader swing is 20k. So that's how you could potentially take a card, unison card from 5 markers down to 1, which I think it's really, really nutty, especially if they're playing those big Broly, Boo unisons. And then for your red card, this become a 15k combo. Because if you have 4 colors in your energy, you go ahead, this is tap, right? You, in any swing, you combo 5, you take this up, you put it down, and it negs 10,000 on your opponent's swing. So that's basically a 15k combo. He can get cloggy in your hand if you didn't manage to charge the proper Aegis cards on your energy. But you could also fix the ratios on your energy with this card because it says you grab a multicolor energy and you place another one. So you don't have to play the same one. That way you can fix your energy colors if you had to charge something different. But for the most part, you're going to use this to combo either neg 10 plus 5 or just rip markers from the unisons. So now that we went over some of the team cards of the deck, we're going to follow up with some finishers. We're going to go ahead and we're going to be playing this, 2 Demigrass, and 1 SS4 Bardock. So this has to be a 3. I couldn't find my other copies. I tried really hard, so that's why I have 2 Demigrass. I didn't really play Demigrass that much, but it's a good way to bait out charismatics or even blue negates. You pay 2 energy because you charge blue. It's really easy to withstand your energy. So in a turn that you want to drop him or him, you go ahead, you play Demigra, you overwhelm. Make sure you have your pieces safe to be able to do his effect. And then if they respond to it, great. You baited out the negate and you can feel safe playing the other guys. If not, he's just going to start ripping things from your opponent's hand. And because the deck runs so many black cards, he is Dark Overwhelm, so he stays on play. SS4 Bardock, it's a good way to finish a unison if they're at 2 markers. And it has SS4 on the name, so you can search it. So Gogeta, we all know what this card does at this point. You play him for 4 by warping a Goku and a Vegeta. So we have a couple of targets that we play, and we do combo often. So these are targets for that. These are targets for that. And then we have the other ones right here. So these are all your targets for your Gojitas. He puts so much pressure. If he makes it on the field, that's just going to be so difficult for your opponent to deal with. So you play him, you swing. When you swing, you rip 2 battle cards igniting barriers from the field, and they have to drop 2 cards from their hand. He's triple attack, and when he's in rest mode, he cannot be KO'd by your opponent's skills. So for this guy, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I didn't play him a single time in the tournament because I always rather play this and neg cards from my opponent than just do this. So he has a bunch of effects. When this card is played, resolve the effects based on the card colors in your energy. If you have a red, deal 1 damage to your opponent. If you have blue, you draw 3 cards. If you have green, your opponent chooses 2 cards in their hands and discards them. If you have yellow, your opponent chooses a card and switch it. You choose one of your opponent battle cards and you switch it to rest mode. If you have black, choose up to 2 of your opponent battle cards and send them to the warp. And then you pay 5 and you either use a Vegeta and Goku from your hand or battle area. You place them in the drop area and then you play this. So it is important to have those pieces, but his effect is only 1 time when you play him. So I always rather play this than this and have 1 extra energy open. And then to finish out the deck, because we couldn't find all my pieces for this, I decided to go ahead and play 2 of... And then to finish off our main deck, we run 2 Majin Buu Human Extinction. The reason why I put this card in the deck was just exclusively for SS4 Vegeta, the blue one that if they make you take a life, they ramp 1 energy. Usually they swing with their leader 10k and use a blue Kamehameha, taking them to 25. Usually you have either 2 or 3 energy, so it's really easy to combo out because this gives you 15k. And when we were done with our matchup, Entei, shout out to Entei, our boy from TCG Metals, he was like, that card puts so much work, like I couldn't get through, and that was the whole point of this. Also, it's really good against green, because if you activate the second effect, you burst 4, and you get to send a battle card from their drop area to their warp, which my target always was Ribrianne. So we wouldn't get Ribrianne because it has to be in the drop area, or you can send their ape that draws 2, especially with Cell Surge. And then to finish up, we are running Sing Shenron SCR. Played him twice in the tournament. It was a really good game finisher. It stops a whole turn from your opponent, because if they have, let's say, 5 energy, you get to tap 5 of their battle cards. Usually they swing with leader first, so you go ahead and just tap everything out. And at that point, they either try to commit by paying energy and trying to play things over that. In that case, when he comes in, he's a blocker, a 40k blocker, and that's exactly what happened. My opponent was at 1 life. He was going out for game. He was spamming a board, red U7 Gohan. I just played this, tap all their dudes. He comboed out to play a Goku, and I just blocked, and that was it. He passed the turn, and at that point, he just scooped because there was nothing else to do. So that is the deck. So like I said earlier, a couple of the cool things you can do is with this, with this, and with this, and Rochi. So like I said earlier, let's say your opponent is swinging, you have 1 yellow, 1 green, and 1 red. You're tapped out, right? they're swinging with a battle card that has 15k power. You go ahead, you combo this, you grab one of your red energies, you place your red energy, neg 10, and the attack won't go through. The other thing is if they're playing a unison with 3 markers and they swing with their leader, you can go ahead either Roshi a green one to take out a marker, and then because they lost a marker, whatever skills they got from their plussing goes away, or you can just straight up combo this and neg all the skills on the unison. And then the other thing was Kid Goku. With Kid Goku and your Dragon Balls, you can do the SS4 call, like I said earlier. So you SS4 call, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, you grab 2 of the SS4, and then you bottom deck Dragon Ball, you go ahead, do the Kiku effect, and you grab another one. That way you don't neg at all. Same thing with your super combos. So for matchups, you wanna, so red, it's really easy matchup. You just have to make sure you charge red on your turn 2, because if they're playing U7 Gohan, they're probably turn 1 gonna play turn 1 Gohan that lets them draw a card when they swing, when they combo with a skill list. So turn 1 you charge blue or yellow, which are your better charges early. And then turn 2 you charge this and you neg 6,000 to that Gohan. He's 4,000, he goes away. And then you try to play to have yellow, blue, and red. For when they play their unison, you just Samasu. That's a really good way to get rid of red. But red doesn't get a lot of markers, so it's really easy to sequence green energy, take 3 markers to 2, and then swing with leader, auto, take a marker off, and then the leader swing, it's a 20k. So at that point, they did have to commit using the Frieza, if they have the Frieza auto to combo out, and it's really easy to combo over that, or it just goes away if they're playing a Piccolo unison. And then for blue, you need to make sure that you have Samasu on line turn 2. If you go first or second, doesn't matter, you need to have that Samasu active as quick as possible, just because that unison on green is so important. Also with green, you wanna play this guy, negate the skills of their Demigrot unison, so they can't take a life if you swing at their unison. And at that point, it's just super easy to get rid of it. And then once they play their big boy Broly, you're gonna make sure you have Samasu, or you have a way that on your turn you charge green. You can Roshi and do that spicy -4 Roshi combo. So now we're gonna take it back to the computer and we're gonna go over the finalized list. And then we're gonna talk a little bit about why the ratios the way they are. So here is the final list. This is what I'm gonna be playing with for the next couple of tournaments. I think these ratios are really good. I do think that secret rare could be Supreme Kai if you have it. It is better because of the board wipe. Some decks out there can make a really big board, and it is a better secret in overall. But if you don't, you can either run Heroine's Lineage, or if you do have the Sing Shenron, that's a good one too. And then, like I said, 2 Samasus, 2 Roshis. You could cut the Human Extinction just to bring down the deck to 53. But I think in this meta, where we have a lot of discard and mill and a lot of shenanigans, It is good to have a little bit more than 50 cards in your deck. And because we played the Kiku package, that's 5 cards, uh, you get to search them so quickly that it doesn't really affect consistency on the deck. And like I said, 8 drop is going to be at 3. That's going to be your main play. If you get to play 2 of those guys, that there's really little chance of your opponent being able to win. And if they do, and they try to do some shenanigans, you could go for your 10 drop. He's a quad strike, so he does finish games. And then alternate win condition, it is the Sing Chen run, because you can play him defensively and then on your turn pay 4 to give him dual attack double strike, which is also a 40k. So this is the list. This is the revised version. I will have the link to my list on the bottom of the description. And then I hope you guys liked the video. I know it was really lengthy, but this is not a deck that you can just grab, throw together, and be proficient with it. You do need to practice a lot. You need to understand your matchups, and you need to understand like when to charge, what color to charge, and if you know what your opponent is going to do on their next turn, because you do understand the matchup, then it's just going to be a really good time. The deck is a ton of fun. You can do so many things with it, and I can't wait to see what you guys think of this deck. I think it has a lot of potential. And if we keep seeing leaders that require a unison with 3 markers, cost 3 to be able to awaken, this deck says no to that with Zamasu. The fact that you can actually splash Zamasu on this deck it's insane. It gives it so much value. You have board wipe, if you play the secret rare Kai. You have blockers, you have barrier, you have critical, you have double strike, you have everything on this deck. It's just a matter of understanding the matchup and being proactive in your choices, not reactive. Because as soon as your opponent gets ahead of the game, this deck will struggle to finish up. Especially against blue, like I said, if they get to 5, 6, 7 energy, it's going to be really difficult. I was referencing earlier my match with SS4 Vegeta. That matchup was so close. He only had four or 5 cards on his deck at the end of the match, which I was very surprised that the deck defended so well. So I'm gonna shout out Chris from TCG Metals. That was a really close and great game. Great guy to play with. And yeah, well, I hope you guys liked the video. Everything will be on the description. And remember, we are giving away one anniversary box 2021. As soon as we hit 150 subs, there are 2 other videos in the channel that could get you a chance or an entry for the giveaway. So once you're done here, go check that out. Make sure you're subscribed, like the video, comment, and I want to hear your guys' opinion. This is a conversation. This is not the end-all, be-all of Prismatic. This is my take. This is what I think works, and from experience and testing, the deck performed really, really well. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and we'll see you guys next time.